Welcome back to the Research Finance Education Series. This video will walk you through how to complete a research activity request form. First, why is it important? Opening a research activity is the first step in gaining access to your newly awarded research funding. A video is available to detail the benefits of opening a research activity for each of your awards. When submitting your completed package, be sure to include applicable signed hard copies of the research activity request form, signed contract, signed and approved REB application, and signed grant application. Allowable purposes for research activities: clinical research, clinical trials involving human patients or vivarium, basic science investigations involving social policy, social science, etc., stipends related to postdocs, graduates, fellowships, projects or studies leading to publications in medical, social, or scientific journals, work leading to patent invention and commercialization, and the project requires VP research to bind the institution and the sponsor. The following are considered not applicable reasons to open a research activity: education related to research, general travel education conferences, quality improvement surveys, or any work requiring the CFO or CEO to bind the institution and the vendor. To access the research activity request form, you can access the file through the research website. A link will be provided below this video for easy access. Before completing the form, be sure to read the guidelines, instructions, and responsibilities on this document. Who can open a research activity? Only research staff with a research appointment, or they must have a full active clinical appointment as a physician. These individuals can open a research activity. Only research projects and awards can operate through a research activity. Delegating signing authority. Select the corresponding role for the study team member you wish to delegate signing authority to. Limits must be aligned with Unity Health Toronto signing authority policy. A link to those guidelines are below this video. If a role is not present, you can handwrite the role on the document. Only Unity Health Toronto payroll staff or appointed researchers can have signing authority. Investigator name. Only one PI can be assigned to a research finance activity. If a single research project is awarded to more than one principal investigator, the principal investigators must decide who will be the primary individual responsible for the management and administration of the research finance activity. That individual will be set up with the research activity and responsible for resolving issues and ownership of funds at the end of the study if available. Signature. Please view the allowable signatures video to learn what signatures and approval methods are allowed. Activity name of study project. You can name your activity in this section. It can be a shorter title that will help identify the purpose of this activity. A maximum of 30 characters, including spaces, are allowed due to system limitations. Full title of study project. If completing this document electronically, you can enter the long form title of your research award or project. Research Finance will use this information when acknowledging your award to your peers during events such as Research Community Forum and external reporting. Original funding source. Enter the original funding source for your award. If you're being sub-granted to perform a research assignment, mention the original funding source. For example, if CIHR awarded Sunnybrook funding and Sunnybrook subgrants to Unity Health Toronto, you will mention CIHR as the original funding source. If the funding source is directly funding this award, you can mention that sponsor. Subgrant in. If your award is not a subgrant, you can check no. If your award is a subgrant, you want to mention yes, with the awarding institution on the line. In the previous example, you would mention Sunnybrook. If another Unity Health Toronto member is subgranting out the project to another Unity Health Toronto PI, you can mention Unity Health Toronto on this line. Also mention the corresponding research activity supporting this project. Project total amount. The amount applied for figures reported should be the entire budget amount, including any indirect costs applicable. For clinical trials, you can enter the calculated number of patients expected and corresponding funding allotted. If your award will subgrant to other sites, be sure to include 100% of the funds for your award, including what you will transfer to your subawards. If you are receiving a subaward, only include the amount awarded to you. For example, if CIHR awarded UHN $100,000 and $25,000 will be coming to Unity Health Toronto, only mention $25,000. Budget breakdown provided. Your research project should have a budget for how the funding will be spent. Be sure to include this information when submitting this form. If your research assignment only has an award letter, no budget breakdown, we will need a copy of the award letter from the sponsor. This is important to review the financial feasibility of the award and for entering into our accounting system. Institution match required. If Unity Health Toronto will contribute financially to your project, mention the value and the corresponding activity and group or department. Timeline. Enter the start and end date of the award as mentioned in the agreement or award letter. Financial reporting. Ensure you mention if financial reporting is required, as this will trigger your research financial analyst to prepare the reporting. Failure to complete a financial report may cause the research project to be cancelled and funds to be returned. A financial report is a comprehensive summary of all expenses for a given time period, quarterly, semi-annually, or annually. The financial report will tie back to our accounting records and is signed off by the PI and finance manager. Progress reporting. Submission of your progress report is often submitted with a financial report. To coordinate submission timing, Research Finance must be aware of progress reporting requirements from the financial sponsor. The project progress report is prepared by the study team. The financial report is prepared by the Research Finance. The progress report is usually a narrative about how the study is going. Please check with the sponsor if a progress report is required. Invoice and billing. If an invoice is required to receive payment, Research Finance can help track the receivables. An invoice is different from a financial report because an invoice may mention certain recoupable expenses and exclude others. In addition, it does not need to tie back to our accounting records. The study team will prepare the invoice as the study team is closer to the study progress. A video is available on how to complete a Unity Health Toronto research invoice. Overhead. Overhead is required for all industry-sponsored projects. The current rate is 35%. For any funding received from the foundation, there is a portion allotted to the Research Advancement Fund of 20%. Service fees. Please mention if there will be the following costs related to your project: payroll, research pharmacy, vivarium, and research core facilities. Failure to mention this will impact allowable costs to your research activity. Research ethics, contracts, and GAP ID, or Grant Application ID. Prior to submitting a research activity request form, please ensure that the contract, applicable REB approval, and grant application or GAP documents are signed off. Without these forms, the principal investigator will not be able to access and begin working on the assignment. Your GAP ID number will be emailed to you by the Office of Research Administration when you submit your document tracking sheet. Your contract ID number will be shared with you once you submit all applicable contract documents. The research contracts clerk will process your documents, designate a specific ID number for future reference and assign a research contracts analyst or research contract specialist within 5 business days. Your Research Ethics Board number will be shared with you by the Research Ethics Board team. Please ensure that you enter the IDs on this form. Investigator initiated. If the award was initiated by an industry partner, please mention that. If it was initiated by the investigator, you can click yes. Clinical research. If this is a clinical trial, mention the number of patients expected to be enrolled. Clinical trial end date. Please enter the estimated date of your clinical trial. This is a requirement from our financial auditors. Once you have completed the research activity request form and obtained all approvals, you can forward hard copies to your research financial analyst at 250 Yonge on the 6th floor. If you have any questions about this presentation, please contact your research financial analyst or researchfinance@smh.ca. Thanks for watching.